Hello and welcome to the RPG Academy podcast Twitch channel. My name is Michael, and we're here tonight with another episode of Detention Live. Joining me always is my faithful co-host Chris. Chris, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
On my screen, you're up there. I don't know where you are on
below,
the stream. And then join us tonight as a special guest co-host. We have Mitch Wallace, who is the diversity coordinator with IGDN, which is the Indie Game Developer Network. So, Mitch, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, this is the coolest detention I've ever been in.
That's what we're going for. So far, check that box.
Yeah.
So where might people know you from? You're in the TTRPG design space, obviously, but any podcasts you're part of, any books, projects, games, whatever, give us a little bit of your bona fides.
Oh, yeah. Usually you can find me over at Weave the Tale, which is a Twitch channel here, obviously, where we do like actual plays and stuff like that. Just have a good old time. I've been on Red Moon Roleplay, doing some horror stuff. Worked for Helm Gas, Black Void Games, as well as a few others, kind of doing marketing for Kickstarters. And then I did my own book, which was Necrobiotic last year, which is about to go to print here pretty soon. Nice. Other than that, I'm usually at conventions selling books. Yeah, I mean, that's me in a ball.
Well, very happy to have you here with us tonight. Again, Academicon, get that plug out early. Our convention is like 2 weeks away now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so small, little, tiny convention in Dayton, Ohio. Very much indie game focused. Like we got our event schedules up, and I think, there's a ton of Pathfinder because Pathfinder organized play comes, but I would say like 80% of our games are not D&D or Pathfinder.
Oh, that's good. I always love to hear it because, I will play 5e, but I don't want to.
See, I love 5e, but when I go to a convention, I try very hard to play games I've never played before. So I seek out new experiences, and I think we at Academicon do a very good job of that. So we got a lot of Free League press this year. There's a whole bunch of their games.
Nice, yeah.
Alien, Symbaroum, Forbidden Lands. I don't know how many. Chris is running some Star Wars. I'm running Dread.
Yeah. Which Star Wars version edition?
Fantasy Flight games.
Fantasy Flight's nice. Yeah, I really enjoy their stuff. And I played the one before it, which was like, there was Saga, and then before that there was like the D&D 3.5-esque. Yeah. And then I hear someone else has the IP, so I'm curious to see what the new Star Wars TTRPG will look like.
I think it's going to just be the Fantasy Flight games. Just they're going to keep doing with that. Yeah, because they bought the IP for all that. When Fantasy Flight games got rid of it. Not got rid of it, but shut their stuff down. But.
Yeah, I just need more stuff.
More stuff.
Send me more.
So quick shout out for Penny for a Tale, the first time chatter jumping in. So if you're here for Mitch, welcome. If you're not here for everybody else or anybody else, thanks. Happy to have you here. Lurking's always fine too. So just hanging out with us is very cool. So we are going to jump into the show proper, and we start off with something we call extracurricular. And this is where we just share things that are going on in our lives. It's usually pop culture related, movies, books, that kind of thing. Mitch, I'll start with you. You're the guest tonight. What's going on in your life you feel like sharing with the internet?
Oh, man. I mean, I mean, one of the bigger like things that has been happening, I think, on the Twitterverse is the Try Guys. The scandal with the
catastrophe.
Yeah. The married guy found out he was cheating with on his wife with one of the employees at the Try Guys, production manager, I believe. But like it was. Watching SNL not get it at all. And for me, I found the SNL skit pretty funny, but also like just how much of a different point of view Hollywood has on like morality. Cause like, Hollywood SNL, it's like everyone's cheating. Like, they print like magazines about relationships and like the horrible things celebs do to each other and stuff like that. And then when something like this comes and a company's like, we don't want that happening here, and we're going to treat it like seriously, like SNL's like, we don't understand. And then they mock it. But it's like, you're not, I don't know if you guys are human anymore. Yeah. What do you guys think? Like, I never watched Try Guys until, because my wife loves Try Guys. and I was like, I have no idea who they are. And then like she made me watch them.
So I still don't. I've never watched it. I heard about the scandal, and I know that one of the people was having an affair. That is still the sum total of my knowledge of Try Guys.
Oh, you should.
Mine too.
I feel like we need a Try Guys segment where we get you guys to try on some.
We Try Guys.
Yeah, try Guys.
So Remy's checking in. Thanks, Remy, for being here.
Hey,
One
Remy.
of our loyal fans and friends of the show. So anything else you want to chat about, Mitch?
Oh man, I mean, obviously, like Cyberpunk, Edge Runners. You know, the Netflix show, kind of just resurrecting the dead that is Cyberpunk, the video game. I saw that. I think they were really proud of the amount of people who came back and started playing Cyberpunk again, and including me, because I've always was waiting. I was like, when is Cyberpunk going to be ready for me to come and play it? Because when I bought it when it first came out and was looking at the reviews and stuff, I was like, I don't want to like taint my experience by having a heavily flawed game, when hopefully if I wait, they'll be able to fix all the stuff.
Right.
And yeah, like watching them make it a great game, and then also seeing how well they integrated the show with the video game was really cool to see. And I think like one of the first times anyone has really done that. And it was good on them for it.
Nice.
I liked Edge Runners. I thought it was a good show.
Yeah. Oh man.
I missed that one as well.
It was dark.
Cyberpunk is like, it's one of the genres that I don't connect with at all. It just does not work well with me. I've tried Shadowrun and just, I don't know.
Okay, Shadowrun is a hot mess. Like,
okay,
the rules,
True.
Amount of effort it takes to make a character and then to just play a game. Like, I'm always surprised with Catalyst games, because you know they come out with Shadowrun like it feels like every couple of years a new edition's coming out, but every couple of years, like I feel like the main complaint that everyone has, which is it's way too, and I wouldn't even say complicated, because I feel like Pathfinder is complicated, but I can handle Pathfinder, but I guess it's inefficient, disorganized, just hard to get through and to understand and to implement at a table. And like, I don't know, every year Catalyst Games is like, hey, we're going to shift a little bit, but the main base of our game, we're going to keep the same. And it's like, okay.
It just, yeah, I'm open to other, like, again, if there's a Cyberpunk game at a Catacon I get to play, I would certainly try it, but just, it's not something I seek out. So I missed that one. But Chris, you said you watched it?
I did. It just piqued my curiosity one day, and I started watching it. It was good.
Yeah.
It was a little dark. Maybe not watch it with the kids. It's an anime, but
oh snap! I watch it with my 4-year-old. So yeah,
I guess it depends upon the kid. My kid would have been bored and left, so he'd have been like, bah.
Surprisingly, my kid, when watching the remake of Evil Dead, was sympathetic to the woman they end up locking in the basement. He was like sitting on the couch, like, what are they doing with the girl? And I was like, she'll be back. Like, you know, she's gonna break out of there. She'll be back.
She'll be fine.
Yeah, she'll be fine. Don't worry. It gets good. Trust me.
Nice.
Interesting.
All right. So Chris, what about you, buddy?
Not a ton new stuff. I mean, I got the new computer, so I'm excited because I actually kind of spoiled myself and spent a little money on a gaming computer. So, if you're watching, let me know how the stream's going, because I'm actually hosting it for once. So if there's any,
I was hosting the call and OBS, so all my internet issues should be hopefully taken care of.
What games are you playing? Like, I mean, this is second. This comes second to the like what it's meant to do.
Well, so far I've played Tabletop Simulator, and it runs a lot smoother than my 12-year-old laptop.
Yeah, that's fair.
I haven't had time to do anything else. I'm curious to see the new Diablo that comes out.
Ooh, when is that coming out?
Sometime next year or something. I don't know. I have no
idea. Enjoyed the last one.
Yeah, I don't jump into like the big games where you have to like commit, hey, we got to be here every night and do this, this, and this. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
That's why I like the Tabletop Simulator, or games where you can just jump on and play whenever you want. You know, I'll probably get some stuff I can just play around with down in my basement. The big adjustment is I went from a 15-inch monitor to a 27-inch. So I want to almost put it on the wall away from me because it feels like it's just too close to my face. But
yeah,
I'll get used to it.
And then you gotta start adding screens, right? You got one screen. Now you need like 3
You gotta
more.
have the Batman set up.
Yeah,
so you need 2 vertical monitors on the side, and then like a 13-inch above here. Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm all right.
You're playing Diablo. You're listening to a song on YouTube, and you're watching a new Netflix special to your left, and then like on the right, you got like your chat up just in case someone wants to bug you.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I have the attention span for all that. Or the brain space. My brain would just go, boop, we're done. Part of the idea of getting a new computer is I just want something that'll last a while. So I have a friend who builds computers, so he built me a pretty solid one.
And now's a good time, right? Because I believe like the graphic card issue has kind of settled down a little bit after, I guess, Bitcoin dropped in popularity.
I have no idea. I just said, this is my budget. What can you do? And he went, I can do this. I said, all right, cool.
Yeah, like I'm not a computer person, but my wife is, and like she just kept saying, because I wanted an upgrade my graphics, and she's like, not now, because a lot of people were using graphic cards for Bitcoin mining, and so the sales of them just like went up the roof, and they all got really expensive. But hopefully, it's kind of like settled down a little bit. Yeah, got back on track.
Bitcoin ruining everything.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Let me play my games.
Other than that, finished up Lord of the Rings of Power.
Ooh.
I enjoyed it. I'm not a hardcore Tolkien fan, so somebody who screams they screwed up the lore, I'm like, to me, it's perfect lore. I don't know any different. Liked She-Hulk.
Did you finish it?
Yep.
Yeah, I finished it the other day too.
I thought it was great. I watched it with my kids. They did not get the old style original 80s Hulk. Like they totally, none of that made sense. But I was silly. Laughing and smiling that entire episode. I loved it.
Yeah. I think they needed a show like that to come out and break that just serious brooding character and just have one that's kind of like, hey, I'm going to talk to the camera, but not like in a Deadpool way either. Like they were spot on with it.
And like having an ending that doesn't like save the world was cool too, because I feel like, if every Marvel movie they're saving the world, I feel like statistically we're just gonna die, right? Like
right.
One of these guys is gonna drop the ball.
It's like fumbling in D&D. If you roll D20 enough, you're going to hit
exactly, right? Like if everyone's saving the world, like one of them is gonna roll in that one.
I really like too when Jen said Todd, the powers aren't the bad guy, Todd's the bad guy. I'm like, that's yes, exactly.
And then not having like a CGI fight at the end, which was always nice, because I really liked WandaVision, but for me the ending it wasn't as great as it could have been. Right. And I think if they just would have kept with that emotional stuff instead of special effects.
I loved WandaVision, but that last episode was kind of like
I said, it went up the roller coaster and then just dropped real fast.
Exactly.
Excitement.
Yeah.
I did finish Andor.
I have not watched today's episode.
I am not caught up with Star Wars. I still need to watch the Book of Boba Fett and Andor.
You really don't.
Okay, I'm just gonna skip that then.
Yeah. Being a hardcore Star Wars guy, just ignore it.
But Andor's good, yeah.
Yes,
Andor is phenomenal.
Yep.
And I'm a little biased because it's kind of the first Star Wars story that doesn't, no spoilers, doesn't have Jedi or the Sith in it.
Yeah, I mean that's good. I think the more they can just kind of separate themselves with stories without including mystical wizards is better for the setting in general.
Right. And I love mystical wizards. I love Jedi. I love lightsabers. I love force choking and lightning blasting. But this show is just it's so good because it's just a good story that happens to be in the Star Wars world.
Yeah,
and it's one of the first ones that you could almost play it as characters instead of you don't have this Jedi that's kicking butt and you're in the back just flying the shit. Like everybody's kind of got their flaws, and I appreciate how well it's done. And how it builds on the lore, and it adds to what you see in Rogue One, and you understand the character more.
And Rogue One was one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
It's really good. It really is. Yeah.
Yep. It doesn't have a happy ending. That's what people didn't like. I'm like, but I go, you do know this is war is in the title?
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's.
Did you ever see Empire Strikes Back? Empire Strikes Back didn't have a happy ending. Like, they all kind of got beat up. But spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen that.
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah.
Vader's Luke's dad.
What? Oh my God.
No. Say it isn't so, but
it ruined everything. Now I can never watch.
Yeah.
We won't mention he kissed his sister.
Oh. The first was it? It's probably not the first like incestual kiss on TV, but certainly the most prominent that I could think of.
I mean, Game of Thrones is like hold my beer.
Oh yeah.
Now House of the Dragon, yeah.
I've never watched Games of Thrones, and watching the second trailer, like for the new series, I'm like, I don't know if I can take Matt Smith in that. I keep seeing him as Doctor Who, and I
never watched really Doctor Who's on, but House of Dragon is really, really good. But it's also, I mean, you have to know what you're signing up for, and but it's really well done version. Same thing with Game of Thrones. Like, again, the last season was terrible. I think everybody says that, but those first like 4 or 5 seasons, Game of Thrones were some of the best TV ever. So yeah, so that's totally fine. So quick shout out, we got Brodabush with us, and we also have Ventru1399 hanging out. So thank you both for hanging out with us. So Mitch actually sent a quick chat. He's got to take a quick break. So we will vamp a little bit. Well, actually, I haven't said my stuff, so I'll do that. Yep. Andor's She-Hulk, again, already covered those. Really enjoying both of them. Love She-Hulk. I've been checking out this show on Netflix called The Midnight Club. Are you familiar with that one?
I've heard about it. Yeah.
So I'm a believer in Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan has sort of popped on the scene, very Netflix heavy, does a lot of, he did a Stephen King short Gerald's Game, was incredible. Then he did The Haunting on Hill House, or,
Yep, you're right.
One of the best things I've ever watched. Then Haunting at Bly Manor, which I did not like as well, but was still solid. Well, this is the new thing that he's doing. So it is a Netflix series. I don't know if it's a limited, like it's one and done, but basically the premise is there's this spooky old house that is currently being ran as a hospice for young adults or youth, I should say, not even young adults, like 12, 15, 18-year-olds who all have terminal diseases. So they're in hospice care, but they're kids essentially. And we have sort of our main character that we follow as she receives a diagnosis, and in an effort to try to figure out, maybe some ways she could cure herself, kind of, looking for miracles as it was, she found this story about this other young woman who had a similar diagnosis, who just was miraculously cured at that place back in like the 60s. So she ends up getting accepted. She goes there. She meets this other cast of characters, some of which have been there a bit longer. And this is all in the first episodes. I'm spoiling the premise a little bit, but I'm not really getting too much. But essentially, she learns that they have a thing called the Midnight Club, where they gather together every midnight and they just tell stories to each other. Mostly they're kind of like ghost stories, but they're stories they just share with each other. They make up their own, they share them. But part of the club is that they've all agreed that when they die, they will do everything in their power to try to communicate back across the veil to let the other people know there is an afterlife. And then there are all these spooky things that are happening, and you start to wonder, like, is this that? Like, are there other people who have already passed away in the Midnight Club who are trying to reach out, and that's why these things are happening? Or is there some other thing going on? It's definitely more YA focused than like Haunting on Hill House is, for example. But it's definitely good. I give it a solid B. I'm really enjoying it. I think we're 4 episodes in. Happy to keep watching it. In Mike Flanagan, I trust. So I'm really hoping he can stick the land. I'm talking about the Midnight Club, Mitch. I don't know if you're familiar.
Oh yeah, I started like the first 30 minutes. And yeah, definitely young adult.
That's the only thing that kind of got me, is it's just a little too kiddie.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it'll stick the line. I'm still going to watch it. Still happy to keep going. Again, Mike Flanagan, I trust. The Midnight Mass was incredible. Haunting on
really
Hill House was incredible. So I have faith that they're going to stick the landing and make the ride worthwhile. And then Black Adam, going to see it tomorrow night, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, that is, my kids got swim practice. Wife's taking them on Thursday, so I got the evening free. So I have not really looked into it as much. Like I'm interested and excited, but I'm not like hardcore onto DC like I am Marvel. So I'm just hoping I'll eat some popcorn, watch The Rock make eyebrow moves for 2 hours.
That's the only reason. Like, yeah.
Well, good luck with
it. All
right.
So with that, we will move on. We're going to go into our first of our improv games. So the first one here is called 10 Things. So if you're not familiar, we're going to take turns prompting each other. We're going to give each other a prompt for a list of 10 things. Your job is then to try to create a list that makes sense, but immediacy is more important than accuracy. So a list that you come up with quickly is better in terms of the game than a list that makes a lot of sense but takes longer. Mitch, you're the guest tonight. So do you want to go first in terms of prompting Chris and I, or would you like to go first in receiving a prompt?
Oh, okay. So you want, okay. I guess top weirdest TTRPGs.
All right. So you want to prompt one of us?
Yeah.
And do you want to prompt me or do you want to prompt Chris?
Let's prompt Chris.
All right.
You.
Say it again, please.
Weirdest TTRPGs.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. The Weird Wars.
1.
That's a different one. Bug's Life.
2.
It's a strange one. GURPS.
3.
If you haven't played that one. There's a Pokemon one that was really weird. I can't remember the name of it, but we'll go with that. Let's see here. Michael's early version of Action Cinema 12.
5.
We'll go with the Spooky Tales.
6.
The Drinking Game.
7.
We'll go with whatever Jared's currently writing.
8.
I'm sure that's a little weird. Things that should never come out of my head.
9.
And things my wife won't let me talk about in public.
10. Woo, that was in fact a list of 10 things. All right. So to keep the train rolling, you will now prompt me.
All right. Inspired by what we were talking about earlier with Johnny Depp's cologne commercial, which I remember the name of it as Savage, which is a bad guy in Star Wars, which is why I thought it was funny. So give me 10 bad names for colognes.
Stinky.
1.
Hot dog water.
2.
Post Easter eggs.
3.
Old car smell.
4.
Feet.
5. Ugh.
Butts. So it was like the umlaut over the U.
Yes. Make it sound French.
Exactly. Dracar Noir, because that's just terrible anyways.
2. Yep. 7.
Sausage patties.
8.
Navel lint.
9.
Mucus.
10.
Yay! That was in fact a list of things.
10, yeah.
So Mitch is having an issue with the baby. So we will have to vamp just a couple more minutes before, because I don't want him to miss his turn. But if we have to, we will. We do have several people watching. Yes. So thank you so very much. Those of you who've already jumped into chat, really appreciate that. If there's a few people that are kind of new, this is Detention Live. We do it every other week on Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. We try to have a guest on. We talk about what's going on in our lives. We usually talk about role-playing games, try to give some advice somewhere in the middle. We talk about monsters, maybe some ways that you can use them, some fun ways we've used them in the past, and then we kind of wrap it up with audience questions. So that's kind of the way the show is structured. We usually go for an hour 15. So that's kind of what you're in for if you want to stick around. I'd love for you to stick around. Lurking's fine, but I do like it when people jump into chat and interact with us, because that's always fun. So Chris, talk a little bit about Redemption. So final season has been started recording.
First episode.
You're not done recording yet, though. Like you're releasing episodes, but you're not. Okay.
Yep. First episode came out Saturday, and then we're going to go back to our every other Monday. It's to say it's going a little darker to start with than we have before. Okay. So it's been good. We've been hitting some good beats. This time we're trying something different. So if you're a patron of ours, you can actually join the Discord chat with us and listen to the game and kind of, I don't know, see how the sausage is made in a way. Here's a secret. There's no real secret. We just play.
Just play, record it, and edit it.
It's interesting to plan this game with an ending in sight. Instead, I've always just kind of planned a season and gone, let's kind of go in this direction and see where we're going. And then when the season ends, I'm like, awesome. Now I got to think for a minute and think about what we're going to do next season to, keep going. And so now I've been doing a little more kind of backwards thinking of, okay, here's kind of how I want it, but how we kind of want it to end, and how do I get back to where we are now? So it's been a neat little adventure and a neat little kind of, I don't say an experiment, learning experience for me.
Do you have an idea of how many episodes will be in season 8?
I don't want to force the ending. I want it to just be natural. So when we get there, we get there. I'm thinking probably end of December was probably when we're going to be ending the recordings. But again, I don't want to just force it. It's not like I'm just going to have Vader drop out of the Death Star and just kill everybody.
Right, yeah.
Which, could be fun, but...
that would be an ending.
For sure it would be.
Excellent.
It would be even more fun to have the Emperor jump out, because they'd never expect an old guy to just start killing everybody.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, but we can't keep throwing old people at people. We're done.
Well, this is still Clone Wars, technically, so actually this hasn't happened yet. That hasn't happened yet. All right, so welcome back, Mitch. Totally understand. Family comes first. Things happen. Don't ever need to apologize. Just jump off, take care of yourself. But it is now your turn to play the game. So you are someone who is involved in the TTRPG scene. You've been, helping other people, helping, creating games. So we talk a lot on our Discord about licensed games, IP games, the good and the bad, the ugly. A couple recently, Cowboy Bebop was on Kickstarter right now. Monty Python just hit. So give me 10 IPs that you would like to turn into an RPG.
Oh, okay. Wakfu. I would say Hellraiser.
Two.
Though I feel like there's already Cult, so I don't know. Those two kind of pair up. The fact that they haven't touched Predator yet with Alien makes me sad.
3.
Top Gun.
4.
If they did Power Rangers and G.I. Joes, they need to bring Top Gun back. Oh, this is where it gets hard, I feel. Stardust, the movie, really good. Probably my favorite fantasy. I would say The Devil I Saw Inside, or The Devil Inside, which is a Korean horror flick.
Okay.
Ju-on, aka The Grudge.
7.
And Red Candle came out with a horror video game, which was really good. I forget the name, but it was like I think it was just Detention. And then Doki Doki Literature.
9. You get one more.
Okay, one more. Final Fantasy.
10.
Like, like the fact that it hasn't been done yet astounds me. Like,
it is pretty wild.
Yeah.
For me, my top 2 would be Wacky Races and Pirates of Darkwater. Chris, you have anything?
I'm sure there probably already is one of everything I would think of.
Fair enough. So Remy, I did actually say hi to you. So yours got lost and I got lost. So we both are lost, but we're both now found. So we're good.
In the rooms, yes.
All right. So we're going to move into used books. We're going to do it a little bit differently tonight. Mitch wants to talk specifically about a program that he is, I won't say part of, but I actually think you're like the leader of it, but it's a diversity sponsorship through the IDGN network, IGDN. So tell us a little bit about what IGDN does, who's involved, and then how we can help specifically with this diversity sponsorship. You're muted.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think like the most important thing is that IGDN is a development network that focuses on indie TTRPGs, board games, card games, all the stuff that you would kind of see at a convention. And we've been going to conventions for some time. Currently, our president is Craig Campbell, who does and makes capers.
Yep, friend of the show, been on many times.
Yeah, really cool guy. And the diversity sponsorship or really fundraiser is all pointed towards like supporting marginalized communities and getting them the money to get their book into the door, so to speak. And so
Yep. So we're playing mute tag. Totally fine.
Yeah, I know.
So again, absolutely, you got to take care of your family, take care of things. So Craig, obviously, again, friend of the show, been on multiple times. We've helped support things that he's been doing here. He came to Academaniacs a couple times, ran a vendor booth for us. We're running some of his games at Academaniacs, Good Strong Hands, Die Laughing. I know he's getting some play there. And certainly, IGDN is probably a place that Action 12 Cinema might find a home or might find some help and support in getting out. So I'm definitely a fan of what they do, and hope we can support them. So I know a little bit about what Mitch is going to talk about. I by no means take what I say as the gospel, but essentially it's a period of time they're running a specific fundraiser right now where people can donate money, and that money will be divvied out again to like diverse, underrepresented TTRPG designers to help them get their products finished or get them to like a Kickstarter platform so that they can get finished. I believe, wasn't Michael and Kaylee like on a charity stream with Craig just a couple of days ago for this?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they were doing something with Rook and Rasp, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I think it was a Rook and Rasp channel, but they joined in as players. So I know they both are, kind of hang out with them as well.
Yep.
So I know there's some charity streams going on where people can donate, that kind of thing. But in general, people can just donate directly to the developer network right now. But is there a specific place or way or that would be easier, more beneficial for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, the GoFundMe page works out perfectly. Direct donations as well. My kid was upset that he didn't know where to put his bottle, and it's like he always knows where to put his bottle at, except for this moment. And it's like, I'm like, Riker, you just put it right there like you normally do. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he puts it over, and I'm like, you okay, buddy? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm like, oh, okay. That's a lot. That's a lot from you for like something very minuscule.
He knows what it feels like. He knows what it feels like to be a middle-aged man. Then,
yeah, I know, right?
Where does this go? Why did I come in here?
Yeah.
Where are my glasses when they're up here? Why can't I find my glasses all the time?
Yeah, my 4-year-old's like right there having a midlife crisis because I was like, maybe he's still hungry or something. But when I come down, he's like, where do you put the bottle away? And I'm like, it's right there, buddy, right there on that table. I don't know what to tell you. To be a baby.
The rough life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, oh man. And also to be a TTRPG developer with a kid, because like Peter Pernusha, who used to do the conventions for IGDN, like he has a Wii that we get to see every now and then, which is always like really cool. And it's like funny because I feel like a lot of people in the TTRPG, like there are a lot of like stay-at-home parents and stuff like that who also like do writing or layout and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's really interesting to see like the merger of the two.
So I did throw a link to the GoFundMe
awesome.
In the chat, so it's in there now. And another shout out to Penny for a Tale for following the channel. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Yay,
thank you.
Penny.
And we should probably warn you, Penny, since you're new, there are listener questions at the end. So if you got something you want to ask us, fire away.
All right. So again, I know you got a little bit disrupted. I tried to fill in with my very weak knowledge. So
I really appreciate it. Yeah. So the fundraiser and the sponsorship is all about enabling people to get to the Kickstarter or to just print a game, because people I don't think realize, like, Kickstarter sounds so cool because you're like, all I have to do is just get in there and then I get my money. But it's not. Just to get the Kickstarter, you're going to be spending thousands of dollars just to get there. Between layout, art, like if your TTRPG or game or stuff doesn't have art, if it doesn't have stuff to catch people's attention, it's probably not going to get much traction on Kickstarter. And if you're on Kickstarter, you want to make sure that you get as many eyes as possible. And so what the fundraiser does, for no matter if you want to crowdfund it or you just want to get some samples or just get like some work done, so that it kind of helps you get to the process where there is a finished product for you, which, you know, is tough for a lot of individuals to do. I think we were talking earlier, Michael, about, like, you know, just the amount of money, like in art, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It is a lot,
and you want to pay your artists, and you want to treat them right, and
yep.
You want to make sure you got good quality as well. And so, like, the art in of itself ends up being such a major contributor to the cost of bringing these things to the table. And so what the fundraiser does is just, here is a sponsorship where we're going to help you providing mentorship from professionals from IGDN. I know personally, I was mentored, and I didn't go through the same program. I just went through the mentorship program. But I was mentored by Elizabeth, who is head of Angry Hamster Publishing, who's about to do a Witcher 2nd edition. And she provided me such amazing stuff. Like, I learned so much. It is great. Between like Excel sheets that help you finance the thing and figure out like where all your money's going, to like page counters and stuff like that. Like, just these simple things that because when you're creating a TTRPG, you're also like wearing all the hats, which is a very unfortunate side of it as well. So any way that can kind of fill in those gaps, we try to do so at IGDN with diversity sponsorship. So it's really cool to see it happen this year again. In the past, we've given like the sponsorships to help people get to Metatopia, which is the convention where if you're a game designer, that's where you go to like get all sorts of feedback. And luckily it's like right near me too. So I went last year and got to like try out a couple of games and stuff and provide feedback. So normally we do that. I mean, COVID the last couple of years has kind of prevented us, and we wanted to focus on just directing the money to individuals so that they can get their game to the next stage. Though sometime in the future, we do hope to like get them back to Metatopia by providing like a hotel, travel, all sorts of stuff. To enable
I'm
them
a big
to
believer in what Metatopia does, but it's frustrating because they are almost always on the same weekend as a catacomb. So we are constantly fighting for the same guests that will go to there or come to us. So while I'm sad that they're not having an in-person event this year, it's also nice that we are not competing with them this year, because we are having an in-person event. But I know Vinny and Avi, they helped me with the Catacon through the Envoy program. That's where we get all our play to win games. So they've been very supportive of me, and I wish them nothing but the best. I wish we weren't on the same weekend, but neither one of us can seem to move. It's just, that's the way the world works, unfortunately.
No, I feel I'm always frustrated with Origins being so close to Gen Con, because it's like, I just went out west. I don't want to do it again. And then I passed the place I just went to get to Gen Con. It's just like, it messes with my mind. It freaks me out. I just can't.
It's funny. It's funny you said out west and it's Indianapolis.
Yeah.
That's the way I divide up America. It's East Coast, West Coast, and then the Midwest is everything in
everything
between.
else. Yep.
Yeah, I just squish it in there. I'm
all
like,
the flyover states.
Exactly.
So again, not to put you on the spot, but can you share
do.
any examples of like success stories, people who've been given a sponsorship in the past and have gotten a successful product launch?
Yeah, definitely. So I know an individual named Jabari who is a really great artist, but let me get some concrete names, because I know we have a plethora of different individuals who've kind of gone through the process and have able to like come out the other side with some really cool stuff that I'm really excited about. So like first is and you could obviously find some of this information on our website too. We have Alexa Faye McDaniel, who is a Filipino Canadian, wrote Bolt, the Four Elements, or BTFE, which is kind of about this dysphoria and reconnecting with your heritage. I remember when Bolt came out, the engine and stuff, and so it was really cool to see, especially like before Avatar. So that was really fun to see. You can find them on Twitter at Lexi, like the bottom score Faye, and check out what they're up to now. Another individual we have, because I know Helena Real is a Chilean writer, editor, and translator. Did like written a lot for like Magpie Games, especially like their work with Bluebeard's Bride and some of the 7C books, like the second edition ones, which I need to play more of. So those are a few of them.
Nice.
And yeah, it's just like every year being able to see more individuals become a part of it, and people like Camden Wright, like 2017 Camden Wright, who I remember doing a lot of stuff in the TTRPG industry. I mean, going back to Jabari, the last name initial M, they did the art for the 7C tarot deck, which is like, and they live pretty close by me too, which is really cool. Just the fact that like the world is like smaller than you think it is, especially in the TTRPG industry, and watching these people have a chance to make something cool despite like all the hurdles of TTRPG and board games and stuff like that, because there are a heck of a lot of hurdles.
I know, not to make it all about me, but Action 12 Cinema, I've been working on it for years.
You know how it is.
I know exactly how it is. So I have posted in our chat the link to the sponsorship GoFundMe, as well as to the IDGN website. So how would someone apply? Like, do you have to be part of the program? Like, if you have someone listening who's like, I need that help, I would qualify. What do they need to do to have a chance of getting some of the funds?
So right now we close our applications, unfortunately, like last week. We had about, I believe, 35 individuals who applied. And what we do is we kind of figure out how much money we have and figure out like the best deal we can give to X amount of people. And then we go through the applications and try to funnel the money where it's most needed. But we do this every year. So even if you applied this year and we don't choose you, but you can always go again next year and apply again. Or if you are like, yeah, I'm working on my game right now, and that sounds like it would be very helpful for me next year, then you start working on it now. You apply Q3 of next year, and then you have like the funds to finalize it. And to really like get it done. I really love that aspect of it, because I think anyone creating TTRPGs needs a deadline so that they're like, okay, there it is. And that helps with the application too, is being like, there is some stuff and I want to complete it. We kind of tend to focus on those because they've done the work, and it's like they just need a little bit of push in the finances to finish it up and get it to the next stage. And so the applications are usually much stronger if you're willing and able to complete that, instead of like, I have an idea and I've yet to put it down onto paper really, and I want to explore it with these funds. So yeah. Oh, deck builders are fun. my TTRPG Necrobiotic is a deck builder TTRPG.
Nice.
And I know Parslings by Spongy Games is another one. I'm a huge fan of card TTRPG systems in general. So
Nice. So you said Q3 is when the applications will come open again. So if someone again wants to apply, I'm sure there's a process, but is it a matter of like, is it in like buckets, like an artist, a designer type of thing, or do you like here's what I have? So like, how do you show that you've gotten so far? What does that look like, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, definitely. It's just kind of like, can you provide us like documents, like, can you be like, hey, I have like this much written, or I have like a pitch deck. I have like a general artist that I have been using or really want to use. Just kind of like the beginning skeleton of what will be a TTRPG is usually really helpful, whether you put it in as like a Google Doc or a Drive or a Dropbox. Just having like a singular location where you've kind of organized all your thoughts so that we can look at it and be like, oh, this person's like, they're really close, or they're at the beginning of something wonderful. You know, they have like the foundation there, they got some of the walls up, they just need like a really good coat of paint and like some nice I guess I'm trying to, I don't know why I did construction metaphors. I've never done it, but you know, just good solid wood for the construction.
It's got good bones.
Yeah, there's it's a good house here. It will last some time. But yeah, it's just showing that, you know, your idea has become more than just a whisper. And I think I was reading a book where someone equated like, you know, the most prized ideas as being like something that could just be blown away real quick, and it's something sometimes people don't say it at all. Because the moment it hits like reality, it kind of falls apart. And I think this is kind of a way for people to be like, okay, if I decide to breathe this out and I decide to pursue this, whether it be a deck builder or a board game or anything like that, this is the way that I can start and complete it. And I think that in of itself is really cool, because anyone just starting, they can think like, I want to do itch.o or maybe like a drive through or something like that. But even getting to that point is going to cost some money. So just the fact that there's a way for you to get to that point, there is an avenue for you to go, I have an idea. I know I don't have the funds to complete it, but there is an avenue for me to do that. And especially like people from all over the world get to participate and create something awesome with it. So yeah, and you don't have to be a part of IGDN. We give like a free year membership, so you get to use like all of our resources, our Discords, a lot of professionals who will help you out. And then you can also, with the membership as well, like bring your book or have your book brought to conventions. I think that's kind of like one of the things that a lot of IGDN members don't realize is you can be like, hey, warehouse and bring my book to cons, especially for people who like don't have enough money to go to conventions, because it's expensive. And I think for most TTRPGs, like even Pathfinder, you go there for marketing, not necessarily to make money, because it's between conventions and traveling and hotel, it's very expensive. And so just being able to be like, here's my books, spread the word, is really cool support system too.
Yep, very much so. So Chris, do you have any questions for Mitch?
I think you explained it really well. Like I understand it completely.
The house really, right? The house metaphor really got it. Like
it sold it. I was
100%.
walls,
crystal clear.
Yeah, paint,
nails
somewhere,
curb appeal. Yeah, it all makes sense. So I assume that you can donate any amount to the GoFundMe. Are there anything like are there pledge levels? Like if I donate $50 as the person donating, do I get anything in return, or is there any sort of like
So we do have a special thank you and such like that for the GoFundMes, and we're looking into the future about other things we can kind of provide as thanks. And so for that end, something physical, I would love to provide every GoFundMe based on a certain tier. But yeah, this is my first time where I'm in the seat, and I've kind of helped out before in some IGDN positions, but now that I'm here, I really want to make it something cool and unique and special to people. this year we're doing some awesome things, but man, next year is going to be even more amazing, and we plan to really kick it up a notch and really make it a thing, because I want people to like associate like the scholarship with everything awesome and cool and like with the new biggest games, because people decided to give people a chance to make something wonderful. Very cool.
Nice. I'm looking on the GoFundMe right now. It looks like you're at $3,000 currently. There's a goal of 5,000.
Yeah.
Is there a time frame? Is this open ended, or does this?
Yeah. So in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we will be finalizing the number as well as the applicants. So you can probably expect like the sponsorship to go on like just around Christmas, because you know, obviously donations shoot up the closer you get to Christmas, as people feel like being in a more giving mood. So yeah, probably definitely around then. So I definitely, like, even if it's just like $10 or $15 or anything like that, pop it in there. You'll make someone's day, I promise you. And I know at the least you will get a personal thank you from me. That's going to be worth something.
That's right. And maybe. I can see several Rook and Rasp, the charity stream, like they're the notes in the donations. That's where they came from. So I don't know if there's any more of those, but I assume there's some more coming. If not from Rook and Rasp, but otherwhere.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. I think in our local game store, we're doing a little fundraiser coming up in November. And yeah, just working with other streams to be like, this is a great opportunity for maybe you to tell your people or the people who follow you to be like, this is the way.
That's right. So thank you for sharing. Again, anyone listening now or in the future, it's a very great organization. Again, it's one that I will probably be leveraging soon myself.
Yeah.
In some ways. So if you have a couple extra bucks, please consider a donation there. I mean, I know everybody title money, it's a thing, but if you have it to spare and you're looking for a place to go, you could do worse than supporting this organization.
Exactly. I'm not going to say on stream that maybe not paying your taxes, but instead paying it through here is the best way of use of your money. But I don't know. I mean,
we're not saying that, right?
Yeah, we're not saying. I don't know.
All right. So we're going to move into our next improv game. This is Where Have My Fingers Been? This is everyone's favorite.
Oh my God.
Part of the game, and that's where we're going to prompt each other in turn to create a short scene involving 2 or more. If you get froggy and you want to bring in a third, that's on you. Characters to interact in that short scene. It's best if you have a beginning, middle, and end to tell your story. I often leave at least one of those out because I think it's funny. So Mitch, you were once again are the special guest co-host. So do you want to go first in terms of prompting Chris or I to go first with the puppeteering, or do you want to receive a prompt from one of us first?
I'm going to make, can I make Michael do Pulp Fiction?
Well, you can, but I have to sing the song first.
Yep.
All right, so, do it.
All right. So, where have my fingers been? I said, where have my fingers been?
That was brilliant.
All right, I got to time the scene.
Yep. So, tell me my scene here.
Pulp Fiction, the most famous scene, Samuel Jackson. Mm-hmm.
So, I will say, cool side tangent. For a while, I was working on a short where they did do you know what they call a Big Mac in Paris? But it was role-playing games. Like, do you know what they call Pathfinder? And I had a whole thing worked out, but I never finished it. Anyway.
You should.
Do you read the Bible, Brad? You see there's this passage I got memorized. Ezekiel 25:17. Oh, shit, I just forgot it. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquity. Now, oh my God, I know that entire quote and it's just gone out of my brain.
Look, the best part is the next part where he's like, he goes, say what
I've been saying that shit for years. But the truth is, I'm losing it here. He goes, I want to believe that I am and the truth is I'm the tyranny of evil men and you are the weak. But I'm trying to be the righteous man. I'm still screwing it up. I'm trying real hard, Ringo. I've screwed it up. That's where my fingers been. I'm so disappointed in myself. My entire life led to that moment.
Yeah.
And I dropped it.
Stage fright.
It's better than a remake, okay?
Give him time.
I don't know about that. Oh my God.
Can I throw one to Chris? Because I think this one will be good. We
can do whatever we want here.
Let me sing the song real quick.
All right. Yeah, go for it.
Where have my fingers been? I said, where have my fingers been?
All right. was it Country of Old Men? Is that the title of the movie?
No Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men, the gas station scene.
Never seen it.
Oh,
no. Oh, right. Let's go fix that right now. We have.
That's a really good movie. You definitely should see
2
that.
hours.
I'll write it down.
All right. Event Horizon.
So you could. It doesn't have to be a movie scene. Like you can just make up like
something.
You're 2 fingers in line to see Black Adam. Like it doesn't have to be.
Okay. Cool. Oh, you are 2 individuals. One likes Pathfinder, the other likes D&D, and it's Twitter. Go.
Nice.
Really? You know what? They're just reskinning everything that they did before. Oh, really? You're talking about reskinning something that somebody else has done? Have you read your rules? Well, at least my rules make sense and are consistent. Yeah, but you guys spent hours arguing about them. So do you. No, we don't. Yes, you do. No, we don't. Yes, you do. No, we don't. Yes, you do. Look, let me look at page 7 and you tell me what that rule says. It's actually page 9, idiot. What? I'm done with you. And that's where my fingers have been.
And the hard part is figuring out which one was
which one is which.
Yeah, like
that was my favorite part is that he didn't qualify that.
Yeah, that's tough. It was like those at the SNL skit, like which one's or can you figure out if they're a Republican or a Democrat? they did that sketch. That was hilarious. All right,
so
give
Chris,
one.
So you've got to sing the song first.
All right. Well, what is it?
Where have my fingers been? Where have my fingers been?
Fingers been. Where have my fingers been? Where have my fingers been? Whoop, whoop. All right, do stuff
Chris,
with my fingers.
We're all role players, so we'll keep it kind of easy. You're goblins that have actually won a fight.
Oh. Okay. All right. Holy heck, Mark! We did it. What do you mean? Well, he's not sleeping. I do believe your last axe to the face did kill them. No, certainly he's sleeping, right? Heroes don't die. They get back up. They win the day. They slaughter us by the thousands. No, Jeff, I'm pretty sure. Look, his brain's leaking out. He's dead. What does that mean for us? I don't know, but maybe we could finally live the life that we've always wanted to. Freedom at last, but at what cost?
And that's where your fingers have been. Yay! Awesome. I'm so disappointed in myself. But anyway, I'm going to watch Pulp Fiction tonight. I'm going to stay up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Look, you need to find Samuel and you need to hang out with him for a night and then watch Pulp Fiction. And then I think you'll be ready.
I'll be ready.
Yeah,
because I get made fun. My wife makes fun of me because I actually would like watch that scene over and I had memorized that entire quote so I could just drop it in at random times. And the one time in my life when I was called upon
in front of everyone, the internet,
front of the world,
forever like cemented.
Damn it! All right. So moving into the last section of the show, this is cryptozoology. This is where we talk about a monster. It's usually related to D&D, but not always. We talk about ways that we have used this monster in role-playing games if we have, and if not, maybe we brainstorm some ways that we could use it in a game in the future. Mitch, you are the guest tonight. What monster do you want us to talk about?
Yeah, so one of my favorite monsters that have come out within the last, I think, 10 years has been the monster from the movie It Follows. And It Follows this young woman who has sex with an individual and has this almost like this monster-esque STD pass to her, in that no matter where she's at, there is a spirit, or they never define it at all. They don't even call it a name, but there is something that is walking towards you that wants to kill you. And it could take on any appearance. So if you're in the mall, it could be anyone walking towards you. And sometimes it takes the appearances of friends or family to get closer to you. And once it does, it physically kills you. No one else can see it. And the only way to prevent it from killing you is then by having sex with someone else and passing this to someone else, much like, The Ring did with the videotapes. I absolutely adored that movie just because of the anxiety that must induce in a person, not knowing if you can sleep at night because this thing is just walking towards you at all times. And not knowing, like, is that your friend walking towards you or is it someone else?
I also feel like that's not the best environment to want to have a sexual relation with someone,
Yeah.
Hard to get ready when you're like terrified.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah. I mean, it starts off with the guy kind of developing a relationship with the young woman and then having sex, and then like showing her like, look, I am very sorry about this whole thing, but I'm going to tell you what the person who did this to me never did. And that's like, this is it. And they like look through the window and they see like this naked old woman walking down the sidewalk towards the abandoned house at their end, and being like, this is real. And you need to understand that this is real because I was never told this. And so, yeah, it was just like, it was explained perfectly at the beginning where they're like, these are the rules of this thing. And then they stuck with it. And it was just, it's just creepy.
So to jump slightly sideways just for a second, did you watch the movie Truth or Dare? Came out, I think, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes. If we're thinking about the same one, which I think we are.
Because it had a similar sort of setup where there's like a group of kids at like a castle or something, and they're all hanging out, and there's one guy who just sort of met a girl at the bar and is hanging out with them, and he's like, hey, we should play Truth or Dare. And you figure out quickly his whole reason to be there was to pass the curse on to them. And he's like, sorry, as soon as he did, he jets, because now same thing. It's like, sorry, but I needed to pass this to you so that I don't die. And then he, GTFOs. So it kind of a similar setup there. So how do you think we could translate this? Now, again, it doesn't have to be D&D, but we often circle around that because it's, the most known game.
Yeah.
But in a TTRPG, how do we, because this feels more like a curse, I think, than like a monster we would fight. Because I don't think you can beat this with like swords and magic. It seems like, and is the only way to beat it to pass it along, and that's not truly beating it? Or would, in a TTRPG, would you want there to be a way that you could actually win and stop it?
Yeah, I think that's like one of the interesting things is in the movie they try to kill it, and spoilers, it doesn't work. And so, yeah, I think it would just be a curse. So the monster really is just like this byproduct of this curse. And so you could, like any D20 system, it would, I think, be perfect as like a modified disease or a poison or something like that. And if you didn't, I think it'd be very hard to deal with the sexual aspect of it in like your own home game. And so what I would do was instead be like, wisdom saving throws by being around an individual who has this curse. And whoever like fails their wisdom saving throw, then the curse bounces to them. And so you could give it to someone else by being around them until they fail their wisdom saving throw. And then just have like this unkillable monster who continues to track you down. I think the fun part would be, so you could either solve it, but I don't think that's as fun. I think the best way to do it would be to find someone to pass it on to, and always remind the player that like, you have no idea if that person was killed, and then the curse goes back to the next person who had it, and then just keeps going down the line.
Right, so that was actually my, because I haven't seen the movie. So like, if I get the curse and I can't pass it on and I die, that's not the end of the curse. It continues.
It just keeps going down the line. Yeah. So you never know like when
it could come back.
Yeah. And I think they did that with The Ring as well, like in the later movies, where they were like, this is how you beat it. And they like continued to like share the video around to all these people. But then all it takes is one person to forget or one person to mess up. And then it just starts coming back, and everyone is suddenly freaking out because they don't remember like when or who they passed it on to, and when that little girl's about to come.
It's like a chain
TV.
letter from the 80s.
Yes.
This has found you well. And if you don't send this to 8 people, yeah. All right, so Chris, so think about your history of role-playing games. Have you ever played in a game or ran a game that had any sort of situation like this? And again, it doesn't be exactly the same, but a sort of like unkillable force, curses that can be bounced around. Like, is that something you've played with in the past?
The closest is what they used to call it, a geese, however, whatever that spell.
That weird word they throw in.
Yeah, everybody would argue about how it was said. I've had a character that had that where you had to continue your mission and you couldn't stop. Nothing quite as serious as you'll die if you don't do it, but a lot of other penalties. I know how I would solve it. I would, you just said that it appears as, it could be your best friend. I'd be like, okay, cool. I know Michael's in Kentucky. All of a sudden he shows up at my house. Cool. Guess what, curse? I'm passing the curse. Yep, passing the curse on to you, buddy.
Like, peace.
Yeah. I think though you could easily put it in a game in a different way. Just give it an item.
Ooh.
You're sitting around.
That would be cool.
Sitting around playing poker. Your character wins, but doesn't really win. Maybe he gets a ring from somebody or something like that. And now the ring is what actually has to be passed, or a poker chip or gold or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could make it where it's easily to defeat it by, you just have to find a way of destroying the item, which would then free the creature. I would play it, I'd probably play it like a Shadow of the Demon Lord type game that's designed to be that horror. But I would go tragic with it. Like the creature that's there, all it sees is its captor, and it's driven to kill its captor because it thinks it'll be freed, not realizing that, again, I'm going to use a poker chip kind of as the idea, that's what's actually the keeping it locked into this plan.
And I really liked, like, if you go that route, they could find like 5 platinum, right? Well, one of those like valued coins where it equals like a lot of gold. And then the characters sell it off, and like the only way to stop the curse is to get those platinum coins back. And so when they're all excited to have this cool armor and stuff, they're like, you're gonna have to find those platinum coins and return them.
I mean, it comes like a Pirates of the Caribbean situation.
Exactly.
You got to get all of them back, not just 4 of 5. You got to get all 5.
All of them.
I think it makes sense to make it something less valuable, like a. I get the idea of it being platinum because you buy cool stuff, but if you make it like a copper, you could see that, like, you could have that for a long time. Like every time they go to a tavern, you might roll, like a D100, and they don't use it or they do spend it.
Yeah, that would be really cool too, because then you could like it would be one of those slow burns where you roll it every time and they're wondering why you're rolling.
Why are you
6 sessions later, you're like, all right, now's the time, and they're wondering what during the last 6 sessions did they find this excitement.
You could also do the thing where they come into it in the middle. So like they come into a small like village and everyone's dead, like an unexplained sort of thing. And then like they find, looks like people were playing poker. There's money still on the table. Do they claim it? Like there's the mystery of like, why are all these people dead? Because the curse passed around the village. You have people maybe like locked in rooms that are locked, but then they're still dead. So how did that happen type of a thing?
Oh, so good.
That could be like a good mystery investigation. Chris, did you have something else?
I was just playing off what you were saying. I mean, imagine if you have a party that has a paladin, and the paladin knows he passed the curse on. I mean, now his quest is going to be to do that. Almost every game I've ever played in, if somebody's playing a paladin, somebody's playing the thief that wants to mess with them.
Yeah.
So, with your story, you walk in, everybody's dead. The paladin's going to say, that's not our money. We should figure out the tragedy. Meanwhile, the thief's going to pocket a few things, and now he's got the curse, and now you guys have to deal with it. Now the paladin gets to yell at him like, see, this is what happens when you don't honor the dead.
Hands to yourself.
Which, that could be a slow burn, too, because you could play many different... Now the group gets attacked by a bunch of undead. They're like, oh, you free the undead, and you're like, well, actually, no, you were just in a graveyard. Like,
yeah.
That had nothing to do with the coin, and you could bring that back. There's a lot of ways.
Yeah, I love that slow burn aspect of it, because it feels like you as a GM, like you get to really implement something cool by like having these mini fun episodes and stuff, but then like this thing that's slowly building over it. Yeah, that sounds really fun as a player and GM's perspective.
You could even do it where you kind of build it up almost like the players just have really bad luck. But every time they go into a place and tragedy happens, the creature gets stronger and stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a I don't know, an energy leech, for lack of a better term. I can't think of a good term for it. But,
yeah.
And there's your slow build as it builds up until finally they're like, oh my God, it's been the paladin's, sword the whole time. They don't know it, or, Michael's favorite D12 is actually the cursed item.
That's right.
Yeah.
I am thinking of like trying to twist it a little bit to make it like, how can we make this kind of like a humorous thing?
Mm-hmm.
And the two things I'm thinking of is your quest then becomes to find that stereotypical bard, because if you can pass that to them, they're seducing everything. So, it takes care of it. It's like the whole planet's going to be spread, or you get that bard who's like, okay, I'm going to seduce the dragon because I want this curse to try to kill that red dragon.
Yeah.
So it's not just like funny.
Awesome.
It's like, okay, I actually have to do this thing because you seduce the most powerful creature or object that you can. Or you could even do a thing where maybe there's like more than one of these creatures and you play it from the creature's point of view. Ooh. So it's like, how are you, like, what are you disguising yourself as? Like, what are you doing? How are you getting close to your victims? And you could do it almost sort of like in a funny sort of way, like, hey, I'm going to be his grandma. Check this out. And,
go through the window, like, bam.
Yeah. Bam, dead. So that could be fun. I definitely think Dread would work definitely for like a one-shot version of this.
Definitely.
Very much teens dying around Camp Crystal Lake sort of a thing. I think Shadow of the Demon Lord would probably fit very well for a game that's like a sustainable game where you are trying to actually eventually get out of it.
Cult, always.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Cult, in my eyes, is the most horrific TTRPG on the market.
Okay. KULT?
Really?
KULT, yeah. It first
I think I saw a Gizmodo article about that recently.
Yeah, it came out in the 90s in Sweden, and then they Helmgas redid it recently. And yeah, whenever I'm at conventions, I yell over at the Free League people like, hey, we actually got a horror game. I know you have like Alien, but that's kind of like action, like, I don't know if it's horror. It's like kids horror. But if you want real horror, you go to Cult. And so, yeah, it's just like influences from definitely Hellraiser. So the art in of itself is horrific. And it definitely touches on a lot of mature themes. And it's one of those games where it weighs on you, but in the best ways if you really enjoy horror. And I really, really enjoy horror.
Nice.
Wow. It's rougher than Shadow of the Demon Lord. That's all right.
Yep. Way rougher than Shadow of the Demon Lord.
Wow.
And Shadow of the Demon Lord has some weird spells.
Yes. And some weird splat books.
Yeah. I was playing an evil character, and I remember it got very weird. Very, very weird.
Yes.
So we will wrap things up there. So we're going to move into the final segment, which is our audience Q&A. We do still have several people watching. If anybody has any questions for any of us, making them game related makes sense, but they don't really have to be. We reserve the right not to answer something if we don't feel comfortable, but we'll give you a chance to think of some. We know there's a little bit of a delay. So while we will wait for any questions to pop in, one more time around the horn, everybody can, give your social medias and kind of restate, plug stuff. So I'll start with you, Mitch. Where can people find you? Once again, where should they go to help support your organization?
Yeah, definitely. You can find me on Twitter at Mitch S. Bustillos. That's where you'll find me doing all my shenanigans. You'll next find me at PAX Unplugged on my own booth, where I will be releasing Necrobiotic, which was kickstarted last year, and now we're on back to hit, about to print off. IGDN, you can go to our website, igdn.com, and you'll be able to find all sorts of information about the different stuff we have to help out new creators, even if you're doing board games or card games or TTRPGs, whatever. Anything you could bring to Origins or Gen Con, you can come and help get it made with us. And so it's just a lovely support network for developers.
Fantastic. Chris?
Before I forget, I wanted to say this. I forgot about it earlier. Last Detention, David was on, and for life I can't remember his last name. But he brought up the 5 senses thing that he's using for GMing. I used that last game and knocked it out of the park. So, David,
heck yeah.
Thank you very much for giving me a new toy to play with. But online, easiest to find me is on Twitter. It's Burlew_Chris. I check it maybe every other day. Not the best at social media, but I usually get back to people within a couple days, unless I'm on vacation / holiday. Then good luck getting a hold of me because I'm usually in the woods somewhere.
You can find me, of course, at the RPG Academy. Everything I do can be found over there. Other than I do have a Smallville podcast, Farm to Fable. So if you're into the 2000 era CW Smallville Clark show, we just started season 5 recording. They're going to start coming out soon. Having a lot of fun with that. And then Acadecon, basically 2 weeks from tomorrow, we will be gathering in Dayton, Ohio for a weekend of gaming goodness, and I hope a lot of people will come check us out. The Kickstarter did very well. We're doing well on badge sales. We're pretty much on target to hit our numbers. More is better, but I think we're in really good shape to have a successful year. So that really excites me. All right, so we have a couple questions. So Remy asked specifically about a game I'm working on. It's probably going to be the next actual play that I start. It's going to be sort of Dark Tower-ish inspired, and I'm going to be using Savage Worlds. So actually today I was rereading the Savage Worlds rules. I'm still doing some mental game development, trying to come up with some stuff. So probably after Acadecon, I'm going to start reaching out and asking for players who want to submit character ideas. And then probably early next year, hoping to get that out. Brodabush wanted to ask, we usually play RPGs, but what are some of our favorite board games? So Mitch, are you a board gamer as well?
Yeah. The latest ones I've played that I've really enjoyed are Aquatica. I'm always a huge fan of Machikoro, and they just released the sequel, I think, this year, Machikoro 2, and I've been loving the new rules and stuff like that. Bang is also one of my favorites, just hella fun. And then after that, I would say, Gloomhaven, right? That's that's it. And I can't wait for Frosthaven too. So, yeah.
All right, Chris, what about you?
Question was just a few, so I'll try to keep it to just a few.
Yeah.
I'm a big Zombicide fan. Still waiting for my Marvel Zombies to show up. First wave is supposed to be here this month, I think. This month or
I got that retail edition. I'll have it at a Catacon so we can play it there.
Nice. I want my Kickstarter one though that has all the extra stuff.
I understand.
One of my favorites, and I actually am going to run it at a Catacon, and I'm thrilled that it sold out. Battlestar Galactica, the board game. I love the games where you have to try to figure out who's who, and in that one you're the Cylon or a human. You have to kind of figure out who's which side and try to figure that out. And I really like those games. It's not for everybody. I know not everybody wants to spend 3 hours trying to figure out, Michael, are you a Cylon? Mitch, are you a human? I'm human, but
I'm a Cylon.
Yeah,
I'm a Cylon. Always.
Yeah. I'm outnumbered then. I enjoy those games. Bangs, like you said, I enjoy that. I enjoy that one just because it's kind of a fun, not technically screw your neighbor, but kind of a fun.
Shoot your neighbor.
Yeah, who cares if you win or lose? It's a lot of just luck of the dice.
The fact that you can drink beer to heal is also right on point.
Yeah, we have 3 or 4 expansions because for a while we were playing it on a regular basis with friends.
Yeah.
I enjoy just any kind of game that gets just a group of people together and we can just hang out and just have a good time. And I've gotten away from a lot of the competitive games and a lot more to just the co-op games. I think Michael and I think it's kind of a tradition of ours. Every time we get together, we have to play Hanabi.
Yep. That is my favorite game.
Yep. So we play that. The Mind is a big fun one for me too.
Ooh, The Mind. I really love that one. Yeah, that's a really fun one.
The Mind makes me angry, but it's also one of the most fun games I play because I'm like, this is just a deck of cards 1 to 100. It shouldn't be this fun. You should be ashamed of yourself for creating it, but yet you're a genius for doing so.
And really easy to get into as well. Yeah. So it's just like this is how you get it. It's really easy. But yeah, the fact that they made money on it also, it's like, oh God, I wish I would have thought of that.
I know.
See, I guess I'll wrap up with this. To me, my favorite game is more who's in the room with me and what do I think they're going to have the most fun with. Right. My wife's not a fan of let's play one game for 6 hours where I'm fine. Let's tear the whole room apart and let's have a huge map and let's play for 6-8 hours. But she wants to play something a little shorter. So, okay, that's more fun for her and some friends. So, kind of whatever's going to make everybody happy. So,
Yeah.
Michael, I know you only have a couple games.
I played the same ones over and over again. I truly love Hanabi. I
Yes.
mean, there's no lie. It is my favorite game. I absolutely love playing it. I'm also more into cooperative games because I play with my kids a lot, and it's just easier for us not to be competitive. Yeah. So Marvel Legendary is probably the one I play more than anything else. It's a co-op deck builder. We played the DC version, which is competitive, but there's a co-op mode. Me and Chris and some other people played that online, Tabletop Simulator, quite a lot. The wife doesn't like games nearly as much as I do, but she likes Pandemic, so we play that a lot. She likes Splendor, we play that, and she actually likes Zombicide. She really likes that one. So we got that Marvel. They have the retail edition of the Marvel Zombicide, so I got that, and we played it a couple times. She liked it more than the kids. Like I really thought this was gonna be knock it out of the park, and both the kids were like, "Yeah." I was like, "We should do this, change this, and replay the ending because we lost the first time." She's like, "If we go back to this moment, let's try it the other way." So I think that's another one that we'll see a lot of.
Nice.
Non-competitive, Betrayal on the House on the Hill. I haven't played it a lot, but I enjoy it every time. Formula Day or D, the big race car game, roll on the dice. I play that with the kids and have a lot of fun. But really, Marvel Legendary and Hanabi. Those are the two games. If you want to play, I'll play. Oh, that Blockbuster movie trivia game.
Yeah.
That is such a great. I'm a movie guy, obviously. I like trivia games, and it's competitive.
Well,
and you also
obviously
get to act
not a
out.
Pulp Fiction guy.
F that up. I'm so mad at myself.
Just go back and re-record over.
I know. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna cut Samuel L. and I'm just edit that into this episode. All right. So thank you for the question, Broda Bush. They actually had another one. So RPG related, they say, I come from D&D, Legend of the Five Rings, Pathfinder 3.5, and I've tried other systems with my group, and there are some systems that they're just not sure about. How do you ease new people into something that isn't as mainstream as some of the others? So Mitch, you probably have more experience than either of us. So what's your go-to strategy for introducing a group? Maybe someone who is somewhat reluctantly trying other games to make it easier to get them introduced to something new.
Yeah, I think like finding games where there's a lot of really cool materials to bring them into. One of the TTRPGs that I think does it the best is City of Mist. And City of Mist is done by Son of Oaks, Amit Moshe, and they recently just got, I think they have like a cyber type punk game in that system, as well as like a Sentai TTRPG as well. And so like the pre-generated characters come in these cool, like unfoldable, almost posters. And I put them up as posters sometimes too, because they are gorgeous. You put that in front of someone and then they'll be like, yeah, I want to play this. And it's just powered by the apocalypse, just with some extra, or I guess different steps. So it's also a really easy system to go with. So definitely games with a lot of material support will do a great job in like, the more you can do to divert someone's eyes from the system and instead to the story and the themes and stuff like that, the more successful you will be. So definitely stuff like that. I know Delta Green does a good job with some of its one shots where you can like print off like a lot of the materials for the game so that people can like touch and look at the dead body pictures and the weird occulty stuff. Invisible Sun did a great job with a lot of their like in-character secrets and really cool character sheets, as well as like the physical objects that were part of the game that you could bring in for the players. So yeah, definitely like find a game with good materials. If there isn't a game with good materials, spend some time making your own. I've done like for 7C, I know I did like a couple of like coffee stained paper and just wrote some cool stuff on that. So the more you can like divert people's attention and be like, you're not playing a new game, you're just playing. Yay. Yeah. It's just the easier it is.
All right, Chris, what about you? Any thoughts, strategies?
I definitely agree. I run a lot of Star Wars and other games. Having good cheat sheets that people can work off is key, especially like Fantasy Flight games, because they don't use numbers, they use symbols.
Yeah, it's weird.
And then take enough time to really thoroughly explain it to them and then help them interpret their roles and stuff. Again, that FFG one, I tell everybody, the first hour I'm going to help you with the dice. After that, you're going to look down and you're going to tell me faster than I'm going to tell you. Giving them that confidence in that. For people that I've gamed with for a while, everybody gets into that rut of let's just keep playing D&D. Sometimes when we're just not playing, I'll sit around and go, so what are we missing from our game? Mm-hmm. They go, oh, well, I'd like a little more, let's say, romance in the game. D&D is a little hard to do that without, I'm going to go to the bar and seduce the wench type thing. So then I'll go, okay.
So you pull out like the mini, like two hot guys making out TTRPG, and you're like, I just had this in my pocket.
Yeah. But whatever they say they're missing, I know I've got a game that'll kind of fit that mold. Or I just say to them, what's your favorite movie? And then, like if you, talking with you, Mitch, if you're like, I really like horror, I'm like, let's do Shadow of the Demon Lord. We're not going to look at D&D. And then if you've never played it, I usually warn people with a game like that, or like even Call of Cthulhu, you're not necessarily going to just kick the door down and win. You might kick the door down and see something horrific and go insane, which, for some people is great. I like those type of games. So for me, let's play something different. Surprise me. But some people aren't. Some people play D&D just because that's what they're comfortable with, and it gives them a chance to just escape reality and, I don't want to say not think, but not really have to make complex decisions, just kind of roll the dice and have a good time and build their character up and, have fun with their friends. So I would say talk to your group and, I don't want to say trick them into a new game, but ease them into it by just talking to them about what are you missing, what's your favorite movies. I think we can do it, with this type of system. If you told me we're a big fan of, the kung fu type 1970s and 80s movies that, Michael and I kind of grew up with, or even the bad B movies, I would just say you need to talk to Michael about Action Cinema 12, pull that type out and be like, here, let's make a really bad movie together.
I was thinking about, was it Jackie Chan's, his drunken style movies?
The Drunken Master.
Masters. I love those to death. Like, those are one of my favorites. I love rewatching every year.
My dad and I used to watch them all the time. The kid with a golden arm that could block arm, everything came in because his arms were made out of gold and just different things like that.
So in addition to what both of these very smart gentlemen said, I would say one-shots. So there's not a huge commitment, maybe even like a 2-hour one-shot. Have something ready to go. Like if you have a regular game scheduled and last minute somebody can't make it, rather than canceling everyone else, hey, I'll run a one-shot tonight. I've been wanting to run this game. Pre-gens so that, I know some people love making characters. I hate it. I will start a campaign if you make me pre-gen. I'm happy. I want to play. So make it as seamless as possible. The transition from, hey, let's play a game to, hey, we're actually in this game already playing. Make that as short, as sweet as you possibly can. And then also just the things that you're trying to evoke, because I love D&D, absolutely do. But like if I'm going to play Stranger Things, D&D is not a good type of system for that type of story. So I'm going to look for something that matches that. So if there's a movie or just an element that like I want to play Stranger Things again, as an example, this is a game that does that type of story very well. A Call of Cthulhu tells a certain type of story very well. So, but at the same time, I will say it's also okay to just keep playing D&D forever. If that's a game that you love and people let you enjoy it, it's totally fine to keep playing. I've become a much better DM because I do play other games. So I've added and tweaked, and my D&D games have a lot of other elements mixed in. So I'm a big proponent of trying other games, but it's totally cool too. If you have a game, like I go to a restaurant, I order the same thing every time. I'm totally fine with that. I get the same thing at I go to this restaurant, I get this meal, this restaurant, I get this meal. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I know what I'm going to get. So I'm totally fine with that. So I get that too. All right, so that is all the questions that we have. The one we ask everybody, so we'll wrap up quickly. So Mitch, you're the new person here tonight, so we'll ask you. Imagine you're being turned into a action figure. What are the 3 accessories that are going to come in your package?
Ooh, okay. So definitely a flesh mask. And let's see, razor wire and fingernail polish.
Interesting. I like it.
Interesting combination.
Yeah.
I was on a little roller coaster there. I thought I knew where we might be going, but no. Look at you right there. Well, Mitch, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Best of luck with the continued success of the organization. I hope this, hope we get a few extra dollars sent your way through our stream. You'd be welcome back anytime if you want to jump in and do anything else with us. Really appreciate it. One more time, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, Mitches Bustillos on Twitter, and I want to do more finger stuff with you guys.
I hear that a lot.
Sounds dirty.
Chris, where can people find you?
Burlew_Chris on the old Twitter.
All right. You can find me at the RPG Academy, except in 2 weeks. You can find me in Dayton, Ohio. Hope to see you there. So thanks. And remember, if you're having fun,
you're doing it right.
Thanks. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.